everyone. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you to our interpreters tonight. I am so excited. Forward Together has not had an event like this in a very, very long time. And so it is beautiful to see all of y'all here in the chat celebrating yourselves. Yeah, this is going to be really dope. And we're going to have a really great night. It's going to be really chill, really cool. So I want to just thank y'all so much for joining us in the middle of what I know is a busy week. And I'm in New York, it's cold. If y'all hear sirens, that's just the city for you. But yeah, we really appreciate y'all presence and commitment to RJ tonight, especially in these current socio-political times. So it's really deeply appreciated that y'all will spend your time here for the next hour and a half with us. So to introduce myself, my name is Lorraine Giselle Alith, and I am thrilled to be your host for this event this evening. I work here at Forward Together as the narrative strategist. And for the past, I want to say 3 or 4 months, our team has really been deep in the trenches of political education, of principled struggle, to really produce what we're gathered here to uplift tonight. And just to give y'all a bit of context of what this project is. So 20 years ago, in 2005, this is when Bush was in office, Forward Together, formerly known as Asian Communities for Reproductive Justice, we took a scan of just a heavy world ripe with bigotry and xenophobia and all the other things, and its impact on our people and our communities. And we understood how this choice and rights rhetoric, it just was not working the same way anymore. It was losing its game. And we needed to reinvigorate our movement, our people, our messaging, and protect those actually living on the margins. And so we created a new vision for reproductive justice that wasn't just about policy, right? It wasn't just about access, but it was about addressing the full lived conditions of our people and their right to thrive, their right to love, their right to rest, to decide, to refuse in safety and with full dignity. So here we are 20 years later, it's 2025. Now Trump is in office for a second annoying time. And we're being met with the moment again that necessitates courage and audacity. And our people are being targeted at the root of it all is this insidious notion that care is this scarce thing, right? That it is a privilege and is not a birthright, right? We are releasing our new vision anthology as a living practice, a love letter, a dialogue to ourselves, to you all, to our ancestors, and to the future. We're remembering, putting together the parts of us that have been severed. Right? Care is abundant. It's not scarce. And we have always known how to make family in every form that they try to erase. And we know who they are, right? This new vision is calling us back, but it's also springing us forward. It is a living anthology and a resource that will exist in perpetuity. And it's going to be updated time and time again with new gems, new musings, data, art, insights, games, conversations, etc. This anthology is an invitation for all of us to co-create together. You that are on this call, your kin, your family, your partners, your comrades. And this is just the beginning. Right. And we are so thrilled to embark on this journey with y'all and excited to share just a little bit of what you can expect in this anthology. So thank y'all so much for being here, for wanting to bear witness, and your willingness to recommit to reproductive justice. So before we proceed, I want to begin our program with a little bit of housekeeping. So first I want to show y'all the run of show for the evening so y'all know what to get into. So our agenda is pretty light. We're going to be grounded by a dear friend of mine, Lily Washington. I think it's always important to start with a good grounding, right? Then we're going to have some poetry by Bobby Sanchez. There will be an unlearning activity, which we'll talk about more when we get to that section. And then we'll take some time to read some of the excerpts from the pieces that from the contributors who have offered some gifts and gems to the first iteration of this anthology. And then there will be a time for y'all to offer any curiosities and reflections. So as you'll see, you'll probably see a button at the bottom of your screen that has Q&A. Any questions that you have throughout this experience to any of the participants, to any of the folks on tech, just put those in the Q&A section, and folks will be able to respond to you when they get to you. Translation, of course, is available in English and Spanish. We have our wonderful interpreters who opened us up to let folks know. So if you have any needs on that end, you can just press that more button and you'll be able to access that feature. There are closed captions available. Again, you can press the show captions button at the bottom of your screen. You'll be able to see the captions here on screen for you. Please engage via the chat. We want to see y'all talking to us and vibing with us. It will help me. It'll help the contributors. Give us some energy. I'm incredibly nervous, so I would love some love and support in the chat whenever y'all feel like you want to offer it up. Please use the emojis. I see y'all using them right now, so I really appreciate that. Please engage. This is a conversation and dialogue between all of us, right? Oh my God. Hi, Wendy. Okay. Use the Q&A feature, and recording is available following the end of this event. So we will send out that link to y'all, and you can revisit this whenever you feel like it. Perfect. So I'd like to invite my dear friend, Lily Washington, into the space to start a grounding for us. So Lily considers herself a serial evolutionist, and as an energy healer and Qigong instructor, she utilizes energy to assist in the soul ascension of herself and others. Lily's going to start us off with a very beautiful, quick, guided grounding exercise. So please show her some love in the chat. Get yourself comfortable, have your water by your side. You can sit, you can stand, you can lay down, be as comfortable as you need. And I'm going to hand it off to Lily to take us away.
Hello, family. I'm Lily, and I am deeply honored to be here. Thank you all for asking me to do what I love. And, I went into meditation to see what the theme behind this grounding would be, and immediately what came up was a sequoia tree for the theme of family reunion. And for those who aren't familiar with the significance of a sequoia tree, it's what makes it so special is the durability and the longevity of the tree, and how it's one of the oldest trees in the world, one of the tallest trees in the world. And why? Because its roots are all intertwined and connected. So today, with our grounding, I just want us to kind of get comfortable. And what I like to do is I like to do what I call a 4-4-4 method, where we inhale for 4 seconds, we hold for 4 seconds, and then we exhale for 4 seconds. All right. And I'm going to guide us through so that we can just go on a journey of grounding, and we're going to become the sequoia tree. All right. We're going to be intertwined and interconnected, because that is what makes us strong. So just kind of close your eyes and get comfortable and do a body scan just to see if there's any tension in your shoulders, in your back, in your neck, in your stomach. And then as you are getting comfortable, I want you to picture a sequoia tree. And if you don't know what it looks like, just make it up. All right. Make it a mystical, magical tree if you need to. But the point of the sequoia tree is that it has deep roots that are intertwined with every sequoia tree in the forest. So right now, I want you to picture yourself as this sequoia tree, this happy, tall sequoia tree that feels connected, that knows it's connected to nature, that knows it's connected to its family. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and start our breathing. I would like you to inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, and then hold it for 4 seconds, and then slowly release. And I want you to continue that rhythm going of inhaling for 4 seconds through your nose, holding for 4 seconds, and exhaling for 4 seconds. And with your next inhale, I would like you to draw in golden light through the top of your head and send that light down your spine and into those roots that are going into the earth. And then I want you to take another deep breath of golden light energy. And as you're holding it, just send that light down your stomach, down your hips, down your knees, into your feet, and into the earth. So you are grounded, doing a good job. With this next inhale, I would like you to draw in energy through the roots from the earth. So when you inhale, draw in some earth energy and some energy from our brothers and sisters so that we know we're connected. And I want you to send that energy up your spine, through your shoulders and your neck, to the top of your head, where you are now connected to the universe. Now we're grounded into both the earth and into the universe. And allow this sound to become one with your breath. So breathe in the sound through the top of your head. Send it down your shoulders, your spine, your hips, and into the earth. Oh, I felt that one. So start to bring some more energy up from the earth. And as you bring this energy up your spine, feel any blockages being removed. Because now we have energy from each other and we're removing each other's blockages. This is like a good conversation, a good hug, a good meal, a good Friendsgiving. It's removing those blockages. It's removing that fear. As you're breathing, remind yourself that you have family all over this chat. The numbers in this chat proves it. That in this moment, you are safe. And this moment is the only moment that exists. Remind yourself that you are not this body, that you are the spirit inside of this body. That you are an infinite soul that can express itself however it wants. That you are a sovereign being. Yet you are interdependent. As you ground in, just like you to just meditate on the importance of independence and interdependence, self-love, and love for your family. And how they're equally important, because this is how the sequoia tree has survived. And this is how we will continue to grow tall. I feel those blockages clearing too as we're going, so I appreciate you all for doing that. And I want you to pull some more universal energy in. Make it whatever color resonates with you and send this through every cell of your body. And then go ahead and ground that in Earth, who is also a living body within herself. Loving it. And go ahead and draw up some Earth energy. Bring it up to your heart. And imagine your heart glowing. And as you breathe into the sound, the glow in your heart getting louder and just brighter from the love of our siblings, of our family. And as you exhale, you're exhaling any worries, doubts, fears, ancestral traumas. And this is the point where you would like to thank your body. Just thank your body. Thank your mind. I see someone hugging themselves. That is a beautiful gesture. You can hug yourself. Thank your heart. Our bodies remember all. So it will remember that hug. It will remember that gratitude that you're sending right now. With this next breath, I would like you to inhale and send it to your stomach. All right, and we're going to exhale this and start to bring your awareness back to your feet and into this moment. And I would like to send everyone the thanks and the gratitude for allowing me to be a part of this and grounding.
Wow. Oh, girl, thank you so much, Lily. I just knew you were the best person to start us off with some grounding. Given the inaugural theme for our anthology is, there we go. The inaugural theme for our anthology is expanding care, questioning relations. And I know that you speak a lot about um, communal healing, the divine source. And you and I have been talking a lot about the theory of knowledge and understanding and how it's cemented and regulated in our societies. And so to be led in a grounding that reminds ourselves of like our collective power and our connection to each other, to nature, to the universe. I really, really appreciate you bringing that into the space, your brilliance and your beauty. So can y'all please give Lily some love in the chat? Thank you, Lily, for your presence, your friendship, your collective healing. I'm so grateful for you. Speaking of healing, okay, they dragging it in the back. All right. So I hope y'all feel connected to your bodies. I really want y'all to stay here with us for the rest of this presentation, for the rest of this event. I really want you to just recognize what you're feeling, what's coming up for you as we move through this program, because what we're trying to show y'all is that care, support, love, relation, connection, it is a full embodied practice. It is a thing that you do. It is not a thing that we have and that we own. It does not stand alone, and that we know, our bodies know everything, right? So I want you to feel that, to be there, and to show yourself some love. So, speaking of collective healing, I really want to bring up a brilliant artist tonight whose work is grounded in decolonial, trans, non binary, and two spirit ancestral knowledge. So, Bobby Sanchez is a 29-year-old poet, musician, model, painter, and personal trainer. And Bobby identifies as trans as well as two spirit in honor of her indigenous ancestry. So, her music and artwork cover topics of indigenous identity, environmental issues, LGBTQ discrimination, and liberation on all fronts. So please show some love to Bobby, who will be performing three poems for us tonight. The one poem will be called ICE Stands For. The second poem is Ancient Identity. And the third poem is Eighth Wonder of the World. Let's give it up for Bobby Sanchez.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining tonight. Thanks for having me. So I'll be doing three poems. The first poem I'm going to be doing is called Ice Poem. I'm doing this because I think it's very relevant to, what's going on right now. So hope you like. ICE stands for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, but maybe ICE should stand for Imperialist, Conquering, and Eliminating. Maybe ICE should stand for Immigrants Cross Every Day. Maybe ICE should stand for Indigenous Children Executed. Maybe ICE should stand for I can't even deal with this white supremacy. ICE is not just an acronym, it is a symbol of injustice, a symbol representing thousands of dead bodies. ICE stands for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, but maybe ICE should stand for Institutionalized Colonization and Extermination, Initiation of a Colonial Empire, Intergalactic Conquesting Enterprise, Identifying Cops everywhere. Maybe what we really need is an integration of consciousness and empathy, not immigrants continually enduring genocide. Every day, this country seems less and less like a dream and more like a horror movie, one where the children get separated from their families, put inside a cell, and left to die. Maybe ICE should stand for Immigrants Covertly Eradicated, Introducing Chess Endgame, Unjustly Creating Enemies. I can't even believe that ICE is everywhere. Thank you. So that was called Ice Poem. The next poem I'm going to be doing is called Eighth Wonder of the World. I'm going to be reading this off my phone because I haven't performed this in years. I figured it was appropriate today because tomorrow begins Trans Awareness Week. So, over the next week, we should be learning more about the trans identity, getting more representation. So I'll be dropping this poem on my Instagram, like within the next week. So look out for that. You know how they say our bodies are like temples? Trans bodies are temples, temples like churches. You pray on our bodies like it's Sunday morning. Temples like believing in the unknown. Temples like you should massage your forehead to clear that transphobia out of your head. Trans bodies are temples. Call us Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, places of faith. Would you ever believe in us? Even if I told you we are temples with cracked walls and broken stained glass, but buildings still standing because we have a strong foundation made by brick and transphobic slurs. And that cement in between the cracks is our tears dried up. Don't you know that trans people cry acid rain? Trans people are rain, wind, and sun, the sun shining through the cracked stained glass. See how our beauty reflects off the surface. We are ancient coliseums, but we don't get tourist visitors, only chasers and confused cisgenders with lots of inappropriate questions. Trans bodies are like temples filled with a library of books, but no one wants to read us. We leave water by the door, so you bless yourself with holy water before you enter our bodies. You better know we are more than just a place to lay your head or kneel in prayer. We are like Sunday Mass in ancient coliseums, like an eighth wonder of the world. Trans bodies are temples. Would you ever dress up to come visit us? Trans bodies are worthy of worshiping, worthy of believing in. Trans bodies have been forced to dress up in the closet over the past 500 years. Wonder if this closet door has a lock from the inside. Trans bodies are so shiny, I can see our glow from across the street. Two temples, one street, two foundations unable to be taken down because we are a sanctuary city, protected, opening our arms to whoever comes knocking at our doors, especially other trans bodies. I am a temple. You are a temple. Please believe in us. Hey, thank you. So that one was called Eighth Wonder of the World. I wrote that when I was, trying to just feel like empowering self, I was feeling pretty sad when I wrote that. But, I think we should all treat ourselves like temples, not just trans bodies, everybody. So yeah. The last poem I'm gonna be doing is called Ancient Identity. This is my first poem that I kind of talked about my gender, my expression, my sexuality, whatever you so yeah, it's called Ancient Identity. I just dropped it on my Instagram today. So if you want to go check it out, you can see another live version. This is called Ancient Identity. Thank you for having me. This identity predates colonization. This identity predates 1492. This identity predates the birth of Christ. It has and will always exist. This identity is ancient. Trans, non-binary, two spirits. These are new words of a Western language associated with identities that predate that language. It is an ancient identity. The LGBTQ movement didn't start in the 60s. It started in ancient times. I'm talking ancient like Chuki, Chinchai, Kashkani Rakmi Kariwarmi, Jaguar, androgynous deity, channeling, masculine, feminine energy, channeling, medicine. I am not a third gender. I am the fourth, fifth, sixth entity, so I will not conform to Western identities. We are the descendants of indigenous peoples. We are more than just Machu Picchu. Our identities cannot be summed up by LGBTQ, more like two spirit, one body. Let this poem teach you homophobia, transphobia. This hate cannot destroy an identity that is ancient. Thank you. Much love. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Bobby, you ate that. That was so good. Thank you so much for your contribution. That was beautiful. Your art, your talent, your vulnerability. I really appreciate it. Your work, your commitment. So thank you for offering that for us today. And you see all the love in the chat. I hope that you're feeling it. And again, Bobby has worked with us last year too. And so for T-Door, and so we're just so grateful and so excited to have Bobby here again. So thank you. All right, y'all. How y'all feeling? Everybody feeling good? I know we've been doing a lot so far. So you reached the part of the program where we are about to get into the inaugural anthology contributions. We'll be sharing a bit of the pieces. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to send them in the Q&A feature and we'll uplift them at the end in the Q&A portion. So we have a beautiful array of contributions this fall, and you're going to get a quick sneak peek of them. So I want to start us off with a little theoretical shaping. A lot of people are asking us, why are we talking about family abolition? What are you talking about? What is this? So I wrote this piece called Kin or To Kin on the ungrammaring of family and the freeing of care. And I invite y'all to just sit back and listen to the excerpt and allow it to just wash over you as we begin to engage more in the pieces tonight. Don't think too deep about it. Don't grapple with it too much. Just let it, again, feel it in your body, right? Because it's speaking to something that we all know. We're trying to get us back to the ancestral knowledge. And so notice what comes up in your body, capture any curiosities, ask whatever you need to in the Q&A, and hold that with you as we move through the rest of the program. So thank you, and I hope that you enjoy this bit of Kin or To Kin.
I think what Donald Trump is really trying to do is be pro-family. I think what I have said is that we want our country to be more pro-family. There are, though, policy positions behind my view that the country should become more pro-family. It's become way too
To know and move within the family is seen by many as simply fundamental, an innate function of society. We struggle to accept or even consider the abolition of family because who we love, how we love, and who we are at our core is so intrinsically tied to the fable of the family. We couldn't imagine embracing an ideology that would sever our most intimate connections, even if those connections are poisonous. We do it all for our families. We will hurt, harm, or betray for our families because they're all who matter to us. Billionaires amass wealth and exploit resources to the detriment of the 99% in the name of the family. Legacy, lineage, empires, and we justify this selfish, individualistic behavior because we are agents of the family unit where exploitation is turned into duty. This is just how it is, right? The late theorist Mark Fisher responds to this fatalistic common sense with a brilliant idea called ambient discontent. It's the ache that feels like the truth, the hum that lulls you into accepting your cage as a cocoon. It's background noise, accepting the world as normal, but never really interrogating whence normalcy derived. You aren't happy and resent the conditions around you, but you press onward with that dull ache, and you mistake that ache for reality. You start believing this is all there is. Quote, the vividness and plausibility of this miserable world, with misery itself contributing to the world's plausibility, somehow becomes all the more intense when its status is downgraded to that of a constructed simulation, unquote. He writes, quote, the world is a simulation, but it still feels real, unquote. And in the simulation, misery is depth. You suffer, therefore you are. You grind, therefore you deserve. Ambient discontent makes the simulation of family feel natural. But this is zombie logic, a logic that hinges on the regulation of the human condition and the submission of bodies into form, or rather, a zombie form. The way that humanness, not to be confused with humanity, has been grammared, constructed into our psyches, is a death contract. Not death as a complement and continuation of life, but as the antithesis to life. Constructed reality and collective consciousness hinge on our commitment to consuming ourselves and others. So much so that we are decomposing shells of ourselves. Society becomes a machine of forced proximity, bodies made to coexist while decomposing. Not alive, not dead, just endlessly dying, a zombified intimacy. And it is through the family model that this intimacy is folded into commodification, suffering as pseudo-life. The world we're inside is both fake and all we know. Humanness becomes a fugue existence necessitating collective hallucination experienced as reality, even when unreal. That makes it hard to leave, not because it's good, but because it's so convincing. Not love, relation, and care, but their regulation through the concept of family. Not life itself, but the making sense of life through regulation. Okay, I know that was heavy. I know that was a lot. And that was just a bit of that piece. But I really hope that that resonated with some of you. I wanted to start there because it grounds us in, it sets the tone for where we're trying to go with this new vision. We are trying to let people know that it is through the capturing of the mind, the capturing of our imagination, limiting where we even imagine or can believe that we can exist or how we can be in relationship to one another, that sets the precedent for everything else, right? So it is not that we are trying to abolish the family as in the people that we love and the relationships we have. We are trying to abolish the stronghold that they have on our minds to limit how we can care for each other, how we can receive care and love, to limit who belongs and who does not belong, and to call those things as foundational or innate, right? And so that is sort of the foundation for what we're trying to do with this new vision. And I really hope that y'all can hold that as we move into these next pieces, which will really start to hone in on that more and ground us in the lived experience. So thank y'all so much for your participation in that exercise. So I'm going to hand it off to our cultural organizer. We're now moving on to an unlearning. And unlearning is held by my coworker and friend, Ajwa Ajipong. Ajwa is a Ghanaian American abolitionist organizer living in Chicago. And she serves as an organizer on the culture team, supporting the political education work of Forward Together. And on her off hours, you'll find her looking at astrology memes, crying over cute cats, and making vegan versions of Ghanaian food. Lots of vegan food. Audrey, don't play about that meat, okay? I tried many times. JK. And so I'm just going to lead us in unlearning. And so unlearning is this political education practice that we hold here at Forward Together. We believe that in order to be the best organizers and to do the work that we need to do, we always have to question ourselves and always have to push ourselves and challenge ourselves and hold ourselves accountable, right? So at Forward Together, we challenge our perspectives and push our insights to unlearn the things that we feel like aren't really, helping us to then relearn in a praxis that really supports the work that we want to do and gathers insights to build layered and nuanced solutions to the issues that we're facing. And so Adwa holds this for us at the organization, and we participated in it monthly. And so we want to do a little exercise for you all today. So take it away, Adwa. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine. Hey y'all, it's really, really exciting to be with y'all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us on a Wednesday evening. Oh, hi, my friend Em is here. Hi, Em. Um, so I just want to first say I'm so excited to bring you into something that has been very internal for Forward Together. We've been doing unlearning since 2020. Um, it came out of a want and a need for us to develop and grow in our politic together. And in the past couple of years, months, we really talked about how we can bring it outward. And I'm really excited for this to be, I think, the first time we've ever brought it outside of our org. So excited for y'all to be our guinea pigs. I'm so happy to be leading y'all. Um, so this activity that we're about to do came out of a recent unlearning, one where we came together to basically deconstruct where our idea of family, what it looked like, what it sounded like, what it acted like, where that came from. So we use clips from old TV shows, shows that we grew up watching, um, just to watch together and to dissect them. So we're going to be doing something similar together today. Um, so for this activity, we're going to be looking at two movies. One is going to be a clip that's going to be a trailer. The second is going to be one of my favorite parts from a movie. And we're just going to dissect them a bit together. Um, so the first clip is from a movie called Exhibiting Forgiveness. Um, this this movie is a semi-autobiographical, oh my God, I cannot say that word, a semi-autobiographical film based on artist Titus Kafar's childhood and his complex, in a word, relationship with his father. What I loved about this film is that it's a movie about both reconciliation and fracture. Um, so we're gonna play the trailer, and as we play it, I really would like to suggest that for folks who like taking notes, maybe you could jot down a note or two about what you're seeing. Um, especially as it relates to family dynamics, or the lack of them. And we really want you to focus on the things they're saying, as it relates to the themes of kinship and belonging. Um, okay, play the clip, please. Thank you. Well, the next clip we're going to see is from another favorite film, Moonlight, which a lot of folks have probably already seen. And if you haven't seen it, you might have heard about it. It's a film that came out in 2016, and it's another film that's based on the life of queer Black playwright Terrell Alvin McCraney, and it follows the life of the main character, Chiron, in three stages. Um, and the clip we're about to watch um, is one of my favorites. I've mentioned that a couple of times. Um, and it's gonna be featuring Chiron and Juan, who is a major support in his life. And for folks who haven't seen the film, Juan isn't the main character's father or even a family friend. I don't even really think he's a neighbor. He's the neighborhood dealer, and that makes their relationship as complex as it is loving. Just wanted to give y'all that backing before we watch the clip. And like before, please feel free to jot down a note or two about the things that you're seeing, the things that you see relating to family, to kinship, or belonging. Could someone play the next clip, please? Thank you. Thank you. So now that we've seen the clips, um, I'm hoping that together we can answer a couple of questions. Um, The first question is the one that you see on the screen. Um, and I'd love it if y'all could share your answers in the chat, and I'll give you a minute. So the question is, where do we see in the two clips that we just watched together, where do we see the characters subverting the traditional family? Take a second to digest what you saw, and I'll give y'all about a minute just to share your answers, share your thoughts in the chat. Thank you. Okay, I'm already seeing some really great answers in the chat. I'm seeing folks say that they're seeing it in being a comfort instead of a fearful approach, nurturing bonds beyond the biological, with them creating their own ideals of family. I love that. Um, Affirmation and assuring of the younger person. Um, the now you want to be somebody's daddy, granddaddy got me because I think it speaks to the familial bonds beyond blood titles. It speaks to presence being part of what it means to be family, in my opinion, and the same for the teaching part. I'm loving it. Um, Y'all can continue to share thoughts in the chat, and we'll be going to the next question. But if you still have thoughts or feelings, feel free to keep sharing them in the chat. About the previous question. So the next question is going to be this one that you can see on the screen. What do these clips say about belonging and kinship? And please share in the chat. I'm really excited to see your thoughts. Okay, Lily says that they need to watch it again after this. Yes, I I agree. Um, Sincere says working to break and understand the generational curses at the same time. Yeah, I agree. Being present honors kinship and reinforces feelings of belonging. I agree. I love that, Kelly. What's the name of the first movie? It's Exhibiting Forgiveness. And I can also put that in the chat later. They say it's not given, it's thrust upon you at times and rescinded at others. That is something that we've talked a lot about in our unlearning spaces. Um, I think we are officially out of time, so I'm going to end it here. I really, really appreciate the ways that y'all participated. And I really appreciate it. And I'm gonna pass it over to Lorraine. Glad to be with y'all.
Wow. Audra with the Gen Z heart. Like, JK, JK. Thank you so much, Audra. I really am so grateful for your brilliance, and for sharing that bit of unlearning with everybody on the call tonight. I know you're a millennial. That's why I'm gagging that you did the Gen Z. Like, who you think you are? So for the next 30 minutes, y'all, we'll be diving into some other offerings from contributors to the anthology launch and building on this beautiful thoughtscape that you all are building. Thank you all so much for participating in the chat too, and for engaging with this. And we really appreciate it. So we'll share, for the next 30 minutes, we'll be sharing a brief snippet of each piece. There'll be 3 pieces. And then we'll have the contributors speak for a little bit, ask them a question, and then we'll save the final time to field some of the questions that y'all have been submitting in the Q&A. So please keep those geared up and revved up to get ready to ask our folks in that roundtable discussion. So are we ready? All right, so we're going to move into our first piece. And this piece is going to be by Bianca. So Bianca is a community auntie who believes that all the children are ours and that all of us are someone's child. She's written 2 pieces for this year's anthology, is a co-editor and the overall lead on New Visions. And I'm so excited for you all to hear a snippet of Bianca's piece called Colactation. And so sit back, relax, and enjoy this soundscape.
My partner needed to establish her supply as the birthing parent. She would have to feed our baby just about every 2 hours. Otherwise, she could get pain in her chest from too much milk or not have enough milk. I still wonder about that last part. I wonder what enough means for someone who has a whole other person lactate. So much of the advice and expertise was based on folks trying to induce lactation solo. Lactation education relies on this core patriarchal belief that newborn care is tasked to one person and it's gendered work for quote-unquote women, which is what we wanted to challenge. At the time, we couldn't find protocols for 2 people trying to feed at the same time. And that translates into words that can scare you if you aren't keenly aware. Enough. Who wants their newborn to starve? Enough. I asked myself when I stared at the 0.5 ounces I made after a full day of pumping every 2 hours. Before my kiddo arrived, I only compared myself against myself. My partner reassured me that it would be plenty for a newborn. Still, I knew I wasn't doing everything I could have possibly done to increase my supply. You're supposed to, according to the New and Goldfarb method, 1, take estrogen daily for 1 month. You can use a progesterone-only medication if you have a disability like me that makes you very susceptible to estrogen. 2, take domperidone every 4 hours for at least 3 months. Oh yeah, by the way, you have to get that shipped from New Zealand. Should be about 2 months. Order more than enough. You need enough to gradually wean yourself off of it, and that could take weeks. If you quit suddenly, you're at increased risk for mental health dips. Take that from me. 3, pump every 2 hours, including at night, for 10 to 20 minutes. It might take 1 to 3 months before milk appears. Luckily, I got milk the very first time I pumped. 4, cry. You have got to let it out. I had this one. 5. Meditate. I was given the advice to think about milk flowing from you to your baby, and it really helped. I hope it could help someone during the prenatal stage.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you, Bianca, for that offering. I really hope that everyone goes to the anthology and reads these pieces in full. Bianca has this beautiful journey in this piece where, Bianca, you kind of move us through this kind of capturing or this idea of your mind being captured, one, feeling like you're not enough or not good enough as a parent because you didn't birth this child, and then moving through this process of trying to undo that through like, can I give enough milk? Can I do stick to the schedule? And then you get to this point where you realize, well, maybe I'm not doing it the way that they say that they want. But I can be the snack mom. I can be the mom that shows love. I can be the one that gives support all of these other ways, and I am enough. And so I really want to pull apart this experience and this understanding of not enough or good enough, because I feel like that's foundational too when we're cementing care and relation around family. We determine who belongs, who does not belong, who is right, who is wrong, who is enough, and who is not enough. So can you tell me, like, what changed you and your partner, and like, what did you learn about the essence of enough as you discovered new language and practices as a new queer parent?
Yeah, thank you so much. As y'all heard, the schedule was unacceptable. So unacceptable. Yeah, especially the waking up at like 12, then 2 a.m., then 4 a.m., then 6 a.m., then 8 a.m., and then make breakfast, and then massage your aching pregnant partner, and then go into work, but then also find time between work to pump at 12, at 2, at 4, at 6. It was just other people can do it. Bianca Campbell could not do it. And so I felt like part of that was acceptance, right? Like I accepted that my disabled body needed me. And that my child needed this capable but disabled body in whatever way that I can. And so I talked to other parents like me who didn't birth, weren't going to be lactating without some medication. Folks often call themselves like the raising parent. And they shared with me all the labor that they experienced postpartum. And I think they do really mean the word labor. Is often just tied to the birthing person, but there is a marathon that happens after the birth. For example, like my birthing team was starting to tell me to rest during the birth or during the labor. At first it felt really wild to me. I'm like, my partner is like going the extra mile. It's like hour 46. I have to stay up. But once my partner finished, like I needed to have some energy. Like she was gonna be done. It was a 46-hour run, and somebody needed to take this crying baby. Somebody needed to give her like a massage, get her food, right? So I couldn't also be on my 46-hour of being awake. Um, and I think by accepting myself, the body that I am blessed with, because I think oftentimes folks with disabilities are told that we are inferior. And I think that was what was coming up for me, this internalized ableism. But it is a body that I am blessed with because it is a body that demands rest. It is a body that is inherently anti-capitalist. It is a body that says, I'm not here to be productive, I'm here to experience. So I took the advice of my care team, I took the advice of my body, and I figured out like the protocols that are being given to me are not like they don't consider me. They don't consider um two people trying to lactate at the same time. This is not written for me. It's not written for a disabled person who's trying to lactate. Like none of this has to be what I force myself into doing. What can I do that gives me ease and lets me show up for my partner? And so we got really comfortable calling me like snack mom, where it's like, even if it's just giving my partner an extra 5 minutes to like put food in her mouth, that counts, and that is really supportive. And I just want to offer that to a lot of folks because I know that colactation is like something that we are socialized into like desiring, right? And some people even proactively say that, ask that when you say that you're expecting. Like, oh, are you both going to? It's like this assumption that there's this want or this expectation that we will. And it is a really hard journey. And it can be discouraging if you're not quote unquote making enough. So I hope that folks are challenging what's coming up from that. Who is telling you what is enough? Are these outdated protocols that don't even account for colactating people? Yeah, so I hope that answered some of your question.
Thank you so much, Bianca. And I mean, you are definitely snack mom. I see Say It with them blueberries all the time. And so that's really such a beautiful offering. And I, again, implore everyone to read Colactation, sit with it, because, yeah, this is really vulnerable stuff and stuff that I'm sure people aren't really engaging in on the large scale, talking about on the large scale. And so I'm really excited for this piece to exist. So let's show some love to Bianca in the chat as we move on to our next piece. So this next piece is from Cielo. Our Cielo Cruz is a writer, parent, cultural organizer, and artist living in New Orleans. Born in the U.S. to Cuban parents, Cruz was raised by a single mother in a multiracial community in North Miami. And Cruz draws deeply from this experience as well as their close ties to the Caribbean in their writing. And we are going to have the honor of listening to Survival or Disaster Makes a Family.
New Orleans felt resonant for me. Echoes of Cuba resounded here. New Orleans, a place many see as a living entity, had experienced the harm of that dual family definition, of being a part of a larger we, but subjected to harm, committed with impunity.
The water is steady rising in the attic, ma'am. And I'm gonna drown in the attic. And I'm 37 years old.
Katrina revealed the reality of the racial hierarchy, the way that the city was treated, the way that people accessed resources or didn't based on their membership in a family was absolutely racialized and also had everything to do with their gender identity and sexuality. But on a larger scale, in what I would argue was, at least briefly across the globe, a unifying experience, a repudiation of the horror of racialized violence and neglect that could be done, quote unquote, justifiably to the city, to the Gulf Coast, because it was a place with inextricable, deeply rooted associations with the antebellum South and with the resistance, joy, and power of Black American liberation struggles. Collectively, New Orleans, in its resistant and persistent Blackness, was revealed to not be a part of the family. Beat 3, us versus them versus healing. History matters here. It repeats. It echoes. My parents left Cuba in 1967 under circumstances that remain nebulous to me. From one day to the next, with whatever they could carry, my mom, my dad, and my 5-year-old brother left and would not return for decades.
Wow. CLO, thank you for this offering. I had to read your piece 3 times. It's so dense. The pacing, it was like a short story. And the through lines, there's something there about this texture of memory, of sound, of color, of love, of definition. It's just so much that we had to take in. So I really want folks to take some time to read this one as well. Very vulnerable. You write about family as people with whom you have like a shared responsibility versus family as property or something that belongs to you. And I think this is a very important distinction, especially in RJ spaces. We often default to the common understanding of family. And so, how does this reframing challenge how we, especially us in these spaces, if we want to create the world where everyone can live with full dignity, how does this reframing challenge how we think about family and where we can move from here?
Yeah, thanks for that question, Lorraine. I I'm thinking so much about the resistance that I felt, right, in writing this essay. I think in part because there is a way that unifying experiences, right? Like there was a way in which what I was recognizing was an opportunity for us to feel something collective, right? And that unifying moment kind of brings people together, and this idea of shared responsibility, shared experience, and shared responsibility of care. The definition of family as the state imposed it, right, was really about us versus them, right? Like about this idea of like who belonged. And it's just interesting because I feel like the city in so many ways doesn't belong to the United States. The United States treats it as a colony, right? Like a place that it extracts, right? And I think that that's a racialized reality, right? That it's a Black city with that's created deeply African, right, and indigenous rooted culture. And I was thinking about the ways in which that national narrative, right, the ways in which that story that we tell ourselves of who a country is, and this happens throughout Latin America, but it's also, I think, particularly true in the United States because our media engine is so strong, right? Of telling this idea of like family. We're obsessed with like who is the family, right? The American dream hinges on the family. And so then this idea that there's this dual family, right? Like the people who have a shared responsibility or the people that you own, right? Even in my own family, the idea of being, in Cuban culture, we say, children talk when hens piss, right? And it's this idea of like children should be seen and not heard because they're objects, right? They belong to. And I think there's a lot of ways in which that sense of being property undermines this sense of humanity, right? And so therefore it encourages that dehumanization, encourages that impunity, that being able to do anything. The, what year was it? 2010, when the oil spill happened, and there was massive impact, right? And there was this sense of, like these companies could do whatever they wanted to, again, because New Orleans, the Gulf Coast, its identity is like this outsider. And so this idea that you could extract from it and not have any responsibility to it.
Yeah, wow. Yes, thank you so much, Cielo. I really connect with this too because my political birth was in New Orleans. My becoming was in New Orleans. And I felt this so strongly in New Orleans and in South Africa. I think these are two places that I really want people to study what, colonization has done to particularly our minds and what it has done to capture the understanding of who belongs, who does not, who gets care, who does not. And that this is a global struggle, right? That when we think about what happened in New Orleans, it's connected to what's happening in the Congo. It's connected to what's happening in Sudan. It's connected to what's happening in Palestine. And so, yeah, I hope that people dig deeper into this piece and think about what Cielo has brought up tonight as we're engaging with what's happening in the world in this current moment. Thank you, Cielo.
Thanks, Lorraine.
So our last piece is from a dear friend of mine, Hunter. Hunter Shackelford is a Black death worker, cultural critic, multidisciplinary artist based in Virginia. Hunter unearths and disrupts visual cultures and representatives of racialized violence while utilizing archival fabulation through film, collage, textiles, and painting, and access. To learn more, go to hunterashley.com. Come through, plug. And so we're going to have the honor of listening to a snippet of Hunter's piece, Bad Abortion, on the War of Extremes, Abortion Neutrality, and Unacknowledged Grief.
Because my abortion caused me depression, anxiety.
This is about women's right. We know we have a choice, and the choice starts way before.
The patriarchy is your body, your choice. Ending abortion will never end abortion. It will only end safe legal access to it. But the second infringes on my body, I don't give a fuck.
I felt like I couldn't share my experience because I feared that my story could be used to advocate against abortion access and against medical abortion. I also hold the tension of what it means to hold the movement's reputation in my hands, to inherit the burden of silence or strategy. That my experience could create a catalyst for more uncertainty in the cultural landscape of reproductive oppression and body terrorism. But the truth is, I had a very, very bad abortion, and nothing about the world or my politics changes that experience for me.
Hunter, this piece, just to give y'all some context, even recording the snippet, this was a very vulnerable share for you. And you're also offering a perspective that people don't often want to talk about or speak about. And so I really appreciate you doing this, sharing this, committing to this, showing up for this, not just for yourself, but for everybody else who's experienced a badass abortion and has not felt visibility or community in this. You open your piece by saying, my abortion, it's a quote, my abortion was bad vibes and I'm allowed to be mad about it. What made you decide to tell this story publicly with this angle, given the current political times and our movement's push to always share like sanitized, empowering abortion stories?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for my beautiful soundscape. It's so cool. I love it. Yeah, I think honestly, I think I have a lot of gratitude in this moment. I think like truth telling is really hard in a time when truth is so nuanced, like experiences are so nuanced. And I think that we feel compelled often to like be very strategic about what we do. And sometimes strategy can be carceral when it's not actually allowing you to move through what's actually happening to you. So I think like in my choice to share it, I was really encouraged by you and Bianca, especially because I think I was really in a position where I had this horrible experience, but I also just felt like I feel like there were not a lot of stories that I could find like readily accessible, like outside of maybe Reddit or Twitter, where like people were like, yeah, this was really shitty.
And I feel like everyone I knew who's ever like pushed the abortion pill was like, yeah, this is super easy. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, it's cheaper. Whatevs. I've already had like other abortions that were always vacuum aspirations, but I just didn't want to spend that extra 300. But I think that like the horrific nature of it for me was like, yo, I would never recommend this shit. But not because I think it shouldn't exist, but because actually maybe there are just other formats, other access points that just need to exist for different experiences, especially for the amount of time that you might want to be or like prepare yourself to be in pain for. And I did not want to sit around being in labor for 4 or 5 fucking hours. I'm ready to go. Like, I want to watch my TV show. I want to have a good day. This should have been over in 2, 3 minutes. I was very irritated. I mean, besides the fact that I almost died because I had an allergic reaction, but like, I was just like so irritated because like, is this gonna be over? Like, should I actually call an EMT? I don't know. Are you guys gonna wear masks? Like, am I gonna get COVID trying to like survive my abortion on top of you trying to criminalize me for having an abortion in my house? What are you gonna do to my mom? What's gonna happen? Are you guys gonna hurt my dogs? I don't know. So I feel like in this time, I honestly just felt like a spirit of bravery to just share the thing because especially and maybe and I felt like maybe in this moment I felt a little bit not protected, but because I had another experience with abortion, that was very great. Like actually my first abortion when I was 16 was lit and I went with my mom and she took me and I had a great time and they gave me great drugs. I was feeling great. I got Wendy's after. I was feeling great. I was feeling great. Them nuggets really hit. But yeah, this wasn't that. This wasn't that. And I feel like because I've had such a different experience with like access and care and quickness around what I could expect, how I could control it, and then also too the emotional part being kind of very secondary for me, which for me it wasn't that heavy. That's just my experience. Shout out to other people who have other experiences. But like the physical aspect, we should just have more opportunity to hear about like, hey, this actually was not great for me. And I don't feel like that's pushed as much to like have more access to different experiences with pain levels, with tolerance levels, and also things that could go wrong, which any medication you take could always have an allergic reaction. But it took me finding someone on Reddit to find out that someone else had an allergic reaction to be like, hey, oh, this isn't supposed to happen. Oh, okay, like my face isn't supposed to swell up and I'm not supposed to almost like not be able to breathe anymore. Okay, that's totally cool. It might be over. I might not be here anymore. We don't know. So yeah, but I feel like that's what really pushed me to because it can be easy. It really and really we hope that it is, but sometimes shit just doesn't work out that way too. And it doesn't mean that we should advocate against it. It doesn't mean that we're speaking against like access options and different ways that we can navigate things that might hit us differently or feel differently. But like if there are easier methods for how your body can maybe navigate something, it should be great to just hear different experiences about what can happen and what those alternatives look like and what you should do in those situations. So yeah, so that's how I feel and that's why I decided to share it. So thank you for asking.
Thank you, Hunter. You know I love you, and you're so brilliant. And I can't wait for everybody to read your piece in full and really grapple with it further. So thank you for that. Okay, y'all. It is 8:57 Eastern Time. We are running down the clock. Okay. So I'm not a liar. I really hope that y'all don't see me as a liar. I know we said we are going to do a Q&A. We don't really got time for that. But I do see a question and wanted to just highlight, just to wrap things up for folks. Please, please, please dig into this anthology because you'll really start to understand and pull out the thread of what we mean by family abolition. When we talk about family abolition, we're talking about decolonizing the way that we understand relationship to one another, the way that we understand care, support, and love, to create family as a calcified version of a texture that is felt, that is experienced, that is known deep in our bodies, to make it legible to the state is the family, right? And so we are not saying abolish your relationships that you have, abolish the care and support that you have for your mother or your father or your sister or your siblings or other siblings or your nephew, your nibblings. We're not saying abolish that. We are saying expand the limits, expand the possibilities of how you can show up for each other, for yourself, for people you know, and for people that you do not know. And that nobody needs to be legible to the state, to anybody else, to be valued, to be valid, and to deserve dignity and respect and care and support and value in the society. That no one deserves to be treated like they don't belong, that no one deserves to be treated like they are not a part of a system of network of care, that if we cement and identify family as a function, you see it on reality television shows where people will deceive others, will be horrible people to defend the family. But what does that mean about how you can share love and support for everybody else? You will kill and murder for the family, but family, love, connection is interconnectedness, right? That we should be spreading love, that it should not be hoarded off to only a select few. And so this is what we mean when we say family abolition, that it is only through embodying this mindset that we're able to develop solutions that grasp us all, that can not only hold those on the margins, but hold yourself, hold future generations, and hold our ancestors in a free liberatory embodiment of love, care, support, and dignity. All right. And so if you read more of the anthology, you'll get more into that. Look at me, benediction. Okay, I'm so full. Thank y'all so much for this beautiful contribution. Thank you to the audience for your willingness to engage in these ideas. If you can just give us about 6 more minutes, I'm going to pass it on to our organizational learning and evaluation director, Bianca, who also dreamed up this project and who held us through this whole thing. And we're going to discuss y'all recommitting to reproductive justice. Thank you so much. Lorraine Giselle Aliff, signing off. Bye.
Oh my goodness. Can you all please give it up for Lorraine? What an amazing host. What a grounding into this space. What leadership into this anthology. I'm so thankful that you said yes, perhaps 1,000 times throughout this process, to ground us and to ground community into this vision. So thank you so much, Lorraine. I hope you are receiving the emojis as requested. Um, um, I also wanted to thank you all. Like, you all make this possible. And so, as we close tonight, I want to invite you all to pause and feel the connections in this room, because every conversation, every laugh emoji, every moment of reflection tonight has been part of us trying to build this bigger we that extends beyond bloodlines and borders. And that is what we do. That's what we do at Fort Together. You can see that we are a group of committed nerds when it comes to queering the concepts of family. We are supporting communities to redefine it, to resist harmful narratives, to build networks of care rooted in love and justice. And so, if this vision resonates with you, please make a love offering tonight. Your gift, no matter the size, really helps us keep this work alive, to publish more visionary stories, to create more art, and to bring more people into this movement. Um, I invite you to help us show that care is boundless. So you can scan the QR code and give an act of community, of reciprocity, of love, and we really, really appreciate it. I'll give folks a couple of seconds to have a chance to scan the QR code. And I see the emoji, so it feels like it's resonating with y'all, and I really appreciate y'all pouring into some appreciation, some support for this work. Right. Thank you for dropping the link in the chat as well. I'm gonna move us to close for sake of time. Y'all, wasn't this amazing? Like, I'm still like, I'm so glad the camera doesn't go down low, because then you could see all the sweat. I'm so excited and so nervous to have this out in the world, but so grateful because y'all have helped hold this and bring so much care and love and levity to this work. We've been telling the team that like we are crossing the finish line of this anthology tonight. And we just want to celebrate being able to do that with community, with you all. So I really want to again thank our amazing host, Lorraine. Thank you to our grounding artists, Lily and Bobby. Thank you to all of our panelists, who I'm so thankful to know as coworkers and fellow nerds. And thank you to all the folks behind the scenes to make this event pop, folks who did the planning, who made the slides, the audio clips, the chat monitoring, the digital security, the interpretation. We could not do this without you. This has been such a labor of love and honesty and nerddom. It has been a gift and like a restorative collective breath to do this project this year with you all. Thank you to our research team for digging into the existing literature, the existing dream, to note what was missing and what resonated with us as QT BIPOC folks who really think about family a lot. It revealed what our anthology could offer to the world. Thank you to our political education team. You hosted multiple spaces for the entire staff to kind of explore and grapple with these concepts. Thank you to our writing and editing team. Like, thanks to you, we now have 8 vulnerable, dazzling pieces to offer the world. I cannot wait for that to grow in number, and I cannot wait for folks to engage in the portals of imagination that you all have created. Thank you also to Jazz and Shakira for getting our work published. It's one thing to write it, it's another thing to get it up on a website for folks to be able to engage. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to this amazing team. And thank you to you all as our panelists, but attendees for coming and engaging with us tonight. We really hope that folks are taking care of themselves, continue to hold that concept of groundedness that Lily gave us, the sequoia, the roots, the mycelium of a forest that really binds us together. Thank you all so, so much for your time. We deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate it. If folks want to stay in touch, you can @ us on Instagram for Together. After you close the box, you'll see a survey that we ask you to take. And please read New Visions. Folks have the link. Please let us know, engage with us. Let us know what narratives are missing, what narratives you'd like to add. This is a living anthology, and it gets only better over time as more folks engage with it. So thank you again for the blessing of your energy in this space.